Hello everybody. There's a difference of opinion about the pronunciation of a river. The river's name is spelt N-E-N-E. It flows through Northampton where it's pronounced Nen, and through Peterborough where it's pronounced Neen. And recently the croquet teams from these two towns met for a match, and it was agreed that the winning team could decide which pronunciation was correct. An interesting way of sorting out a difference of opinion. Of course, there are other ways of doing it. Sometimes, though, we don't need to. Sometimes it's as well just to accept the differences, and I don't really see why the Peterborough people shouldn't go on calling it Neen and the Northampton people Nen, all part of the delightful difference that there is in human beings, adds interest to life, and sometimes we should let differences between ourselves and others be and just delight in them. Sometimes, though, there is a feeling that we want to make people agree with us. Sometimes we feel more comfortable if other people have the same views as we do. We don't accept their difference. We don't allow it just to be. We want to work away at it, and that isn't always the best way forward. But there are some differences which have to be resolved, either because they're too important to be let alone, or because some action depends on agreement. And then we need to work away at it. We need, if we're Christians, to pray about it. We need to listen to each other. We need to be willing to make compromises. We need, if that's the way that's what's necessary, to come to some common agreement in the end. That was how the early Christians did it. They had a big argument, a big difference of opinion about whether or not Christians should accept certain Jewish rules and regulations, and so they had a big meeting in Jerusalem. They prayed, they listened to each other, there was some compromise, and they came to an agreement. And that, I think, is the way forward for all of us as we try to resolve our differences with each other. And so, as part of our desire to live happily together, let's make sure that we differentiate between those differences between ourselves and others that can just be let alone and enjoyed, and those differences which have to be sorted out. And if we have to sort out a difference, if we have to try and come to some common mind, let's do so with prayer if we're Christians, by careful listening, by willingness to compromise, and by a determination in the end to accept the commonly agreed answer. If you're interested, the Northampton side won, so this year it's pronounced Nen. But as you'll gather from the way I phrase that, there's going to be another match next year at which the whole thing will be sorted out afresh. And indeed, there needs to be a provisional feeling about all our decisions. Even if we come to a common mind about something, let's always be provisional, let's be flexible, let's always be open to new ways of moving forward together.